Hello. We're going to talk about the challenges of on-chain governance and specifically how the Reserve Protocol tackles it. The stakes can be extremely high when it comes to governance, especially on-chain governance, where we try to do things in the maximally decentralized way. An example, the Beanstalk Dao recently suffered a $182 million attack from poor governance design. Hopefully that highlights the risk. So let's, just as a background, let's go over how Reserve approaches decentralized governance. Reserve uses a version of OpenZeppelin's governor, which we call Governor Alexios. If you're familiar with other systems, it's similar to compound finances. It follows a pretty straightforward proposal lifecycle whereby users can propose a change to the protocol. It will go through a voting period and ultimately be executed. This system bakes in different time windows for threat detection and other safeguards that I'll talk about. And so at a high level, first a proposal is created. We wait 2 days where people can lock in more tokens to lock in their vote weight. For the next 3 days, voters can vote either for or against the proposal. And if it passes, it moves on to a time lock where we wait 2 more days before it's finally executed. And at any point in the stage, if anything bad is going to happen, someone can step in, users can withdraw, other security measures can be taken. And that's some of the rationale behind this system. And so who's responsible for governance? It's the RSR stakers who provide the service of over-collateralization. And as a result, they earn part of the underlying yield. And they also have, because their money is on the line, they're also the ones governing that specific R token. We have to acknowledge that, likewise, in the smart contract case, we're dealing with a lot of different underlying protocols here. And we have to be cognizant that there's risks in these underlying assets. And not just security risk, likewise, there is governance risk. Sometimes there's bad proposals that can go through, like in the Beanstalk case. And so RToken Governors, the RSR stakers, because they're staking on specific R tokens, they're going to be more diligent in monitoring all the more relevant protocols to them. If a protocol is too risky, if they deem it to be, or for whatever reason, they can vote to change the assets backing the R token. And that mitigates governance risk or pursues any other objectives they see fit. Let's talk about a couple special roles in this governance system. We talked about how proposals can go through, but there are more safeguards baked into the system beyond that process. There are 4 essential security roles that the Reserve protocol contains. And these are all divided between different multi-sig wallets. This mitigates, the reasoning is to mitigate the risk that there's concentrated governance power. But we have to keep in mind that these roles and their ownership are all accountable to the RToken governors at the end of the day, the RToken stakers. Some of these roles include, one, there's the pauser, and I'm going to describe them in sort of a hierarchy, beginning from lowest, ending at highest. The pauser at the lowest rung can halt the minting of R tokens, but not redemption. Next up is the short freezer, who can freeze all R tokens, which stop nearly all the functions for a short period of time. If the issue that's identified cannot be remedied in a short amount of time, the long freezer can step in, who can extend the freeze duration. Is a safeguard in the case that a bigger vulnerability is found, and there needs to be contract changes that need to be pushed through a governance proposal in an upgrade. It anticipates more complex fixes, but ultimately they can be approached safely with this role. And lastly, there's the guardian, who has the power to reject proposals, even if they pass a governance process. This is a highly permissioned role because it's able to stop malicious proposals from passing, and so it has to be held by either a DAO or a very trusted party. And the last topic is the topic of decentralized upgradability. Upgradable contracts can be a very polarizing issue in the Ethereum ecosystem. An example, negative reception recently was where the Oasis protocol was compelled by a court to upgrade their contracts to take back over $300 million in stolen funds that were wrongfully obtained in the first place from the Wormhole Bridge hack. but the fact that they forced what was supposed to be a decentralized protocol to take it is quite problematic. And this caused, rightfully, a debate about the importance of immutability in Ethereum. But on the other hand, upgradability is good for protocols and users to have the flexibility to upgrade their systems or fix bugs until we're satisfied it's perfect and it can at that point be calcified. Reserve has luckily found a middle ground, what we call decentralized upgradability. Protocol upgrades can go through the same 8-day governance cycle that I discussed earlier in order to obtain a new feature from a smart contract or fix a bug, whatever you have it. And this respects the principle of decentralization while at the same time having the benefit of staying flexible. And so in conclusion, hopefully this discussion has convinced you that Reserve has anticipated all these types of governance risks and baked in a lot of checks and balances, to create an overall robust system. And the end goal ultimately being that we want our tokens to be maximally secure and decentralized. And that's what we think the future of asset-backed currencies will look like.